right, yeah, turn on your mics. I think they are off right now. Yeah, check, yeah.
Check.
It's off, isn't it?
Satoshi.
Yeah, check. All right, good. Mic check. Okay, so I just found out I'm moderating this panel about 10 minutes ago, but don't worry, I have some questions. And you, the audience, will be able to ask questions as well and save me. So let's do a little round of introductions. If you could please say who you are and what you're working on. Yes.
Fantastic. Afternoon. My name is Retshepile. I'm from Johannesburg in Randfontein. Represent a project called Bitcoin Sisonke. Bitcoin Sisonke is a grassroots circular economy based on education, meetups, movie nights. So what we do, we're trying to make our youth earn Bitcoin through our meetups and educational cohorts.
Hello everyone, my name is Luthando. I'm a project community lead for Bitcoin Ekasi and the Safer Kids. I'm also a trustee for the board organization. We are building a Bitcoin circular economy in Moselbai, in JCC Camp Township, where we pay our people, our coaches, Bitcoin, 100% in Bitcoin, their salaries. And also we are teaching the kids saving.
Hello, I'm Ellie from Witsand. I am here to represent the Bitcoin Witsand Bitcoin Circular Economy. It is a small fishing village where we use Bitcoin as money.
Hello, my name is Thulisa and I'm from Kailicha, representing Bitcoin Loxion. And the main vision behind Bitcoin Loxion was to actually change the narrative and the stigma around Bitcoin through gardening and teaching people about Bitcoin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's get into why did you decide to start the circular economy and when. So let's get an idea how long the circular economies have been going on. So what was your initial motivation? Why did you do it?
Okay. The initial motivation was giving the youth in the West End the opportunity to earn, because most of the youth in my community there's a scarcity of employment. So as I was inspired, the project started last year after attending the conference here in Cape Town and going on the tour. So I was inspired to start this young project with my team in Randfontein.
Okay, the reason we have to start Bitcoin Ekasi, we were running the Safer Kids since 2010, and then we were running out of donations because of the COVID. And then Herman did come with the idea of the project Bitcoin Ekasi, because he was using Bitcoin since 2014, 2013, I'm not sure about that. So he did introduce me into Bitcoin, because I was the only guy who was working for the Safer Kids, working as a safe coach. So he did introduce me to Bitcoin. And then he was teaching me how Bitcoin works, so I can go up to the township to empower my people with the tool of Bitcoin. So it was a very difficult journey for me, because I was not one to lose the job, because he was not going to be able to pay my salary. In South Africa, no one can just work for free for the organization. At least you have to have something that you can buy food. So I was very stressed, and also that was the thing that was giving me stressful. And then I will end up going to parties the whole night, every weekend, partying with friends. But Herman did change that, the stress, and then he did copy what Bitcoin Beach is doing in El Salvador. So we did push the Bitcoin circular economy together. That time was only me and Herman, but now we have 22 people. They are working for the organization because of Bitcoin Ekasi.
Eldry?
So I was the first merchant to accept Bitcoin in Witsand, which means I was not the founder and I definitely didn't create the Twitter handle. So my motivation for accepting the Bitcoin, I suppose, was just curiosity. And I think that's just a good characteristic to have in life, just to just generally be open and be curious and be willing to ask questions and understand other points of views.
Yeah, and, when was Witsand actually established, like the Bitcoin Witsand?
So the first transaction was an on-chain transaction in December 21, but it took another year. So as the merchant, as the shopkeeper, I was a restaurateur actually. It took about a year to just let the knowledge sink in. I wasn't quite willing to advocate for it yet. You know, there's a lot of education that needs to happen. There's a lot of understanding. There's a lot of conversations. And all of that took place, I think, during 2022. And from I think it was 23, I'll double check the dates, I was more confident to say to the community, I've looked at this, I trust it, you can pay me in Bitcoin, it's fine. And that was quite a difficult adjustment to do. But from there we started off. So let's say 23.
Yeah. Thank you. Thulisa?
Bitcoin Loxion is a product of Adopted Bitcoin Cape Town. So when I first adopted Bitcoin Cape Town, started here in Cape Town, I came in as a volunteer, and there was a road trip that I was going to Mossel Bay. That's when I got to see what Bitcoin Ekasi is doing. And so it started 3 years back, if I'm accurate. And the reason we started it, we didn't even start a circular economy at first. We were just doing meetups, taking pictures, taking videos, thinking we just want to meet other Bitcoiners in Kailija. Little did we know that there are people on the other side who are actually seeing what we see. And there was actually something that we did pick up at the meetups, that even though we are doing Bitcoin meetups, but there are lesser people who actually understand what Bitcoin is. Yes, people would come to you and be like, oh, crypto. I'm like, no, Bitcoin. And actually starts raising a whole lot more questions. Some say, that's the same thing. So we actually realized that there is a need for Bitcoin education in Kailija. And the Bitcoin circular economy came from people, from us seeing that people, they do know that there's something called Bitcoin, but they really didn't know what it stands for. And I like to believe that all 5 of us sitting here now, we are one of those people who go to our communities and actually show them or tell them and explain to them that this is what Bitcoin actually stands for. It stands for the community.
Awesome, thank you. So one of the questions some people in Europe ask me when I tell them about like Bitcoin Ekasi and the other circular economies is, how does the Bitcoin get in? Like, where does the Bitcoin come from in the first place? Like, everybody understands sort of like it circulates in the economy, but is it donations? Is it maybe tourists? So, and I guess like the answer is different for each of you. So let's get into it a little bit.
Okay, as I said, Bitcoin Sisonke is just a year old. So far we've been getting donations through CBF and also through the Federation of Bitcoin Circular Economies. Even though it's not a lot of satoshi that are coming in, we try to provide even more services to our merchants, whereby we teach them about Bitcoin self-custody. Yes, so most of our funds come from donations.
Okay, like at Bitcoin Ekasi, like we still are depending on donations, and also like there's mini pots that they are selling downstairs, selling by KD. There is a conference in each and every year in Lugano, Plan B conference. So we do send those pots to another company to sell us at that conference. So it's how we also generate some funding by selling those boats in Switzerland. Yeah. And also like this year we are planning to make that project to be self-sustainable. So it can cover KD's salary. And also like we're painting the shacks in the township. So also we want to see that project to be self-sustainable as well. And also, like, at the moment, I'm the one that is checking the guys. We want to hire one person in the township. So, like, she's going to be the one that is going to paint the shacks, fix the paint of the shacks. So also, like, we want that person to be the one that, the money that we're getting for those painted shacks. So we want to be, like, we want also to be self-sustainable so we can be able to pay that person's salary as well. Like I always say to another guys from other secular economies that, like, you must find some ideas so you can run your Bitcoin secular economy self-sustainable. Don't always reliable on donations, because one day people, they're gonna stop donating to your project. And then, like, I did learn that to the safer kids in the COVID, if something can happen again, maybe COVID can happen again, many secular economy, they're gonna run out of fund. So it's better to have some idea to generate your income, so you can be able to pay your people who are working for your project.
Awesome, thank you. Ali, please.
I think that's an excellent question, especially in the Bitcoin space, where proof of work is such a core value. We're lucky in that we have a tourist destination town, so it's easier to encourage people to come and visit and spend sats there. But I think addressing this challenge is crucial in part of getting Africa to just adopt Bitcoin. I think some of the solutions might be in micro business financing as opposed to straightforward donations. I think that's a space we can explore a bit more.
Thulisa, please.
So far, Bitcoin Loxion has been supported by funding. We do have a garden, but I think I'll touch base on that on the next question.
Right, yeah. Actually, the next question I wanted to ask about the garden project in Kailicha. So what's the aim? When did it start? Like, what you're going to do with it?
Okay. When we started Bitcoin Loxion, we were looking for something that we can make people earn in Bitcoin so that we can do the circulation within the Bitcoin, within Kailicha. Start off, I came in thinking that, oh no, I'm going to hire people I'm going to find these guys who always sit in the corner who have nothing to do, so that we can try and maybe change their lives some way or the other, or make earnings. But that shot me the other way, that flopped. So the vision behind the garden was to actually make people earn in Bitcoin. We've tried it more than 4 times, and we're still trying again. And there are lessons that I've learned through that. One of those is that you are not Jesus. You cannot save everyone. And, and at the same time, it's that there is a community that really needs a Bitcoin, and there is a community, when you see it from your side, your eyes, that this community actually needs Bitcoin. But even if you think that, it depends on what other person thinks about them. Do they really see the need of Bitcoin in the community? So I think the garden project was based on actually making people earn in Bitcoin. Now we're on our second side of a garden, very big. I'd like to believe you did see that. And we have 2 guys working there, Sisboyi and Mkulu. They are the 2 main people that are assisting us with that garden. And I think I've lost hope with the youngs, sorry to say. I've lost hope with my peers, because I realized that there's always something with them. There's always something going on. So I realized either I'm going to lose my mind if I keep on chasing these kids. So I might as well approach people that have passion for farming, passion for gardening, and they are already part of the community. And with the second side, it's much, I wouldn't say easier, but it's better.
Thank you, excellent. So in order for circular economy to actually work, you need basically 2 elements in terms of like actors. You need the merchants accepting Bitcoin, and you need their customers spending the Bitcoin. So I'm interested in what are the individual motivations, both for the merchants and their customers, why they should be using Bitcoin? Why not just cash or digital payments?
Okay. One of my merchants who has been selling for the past 20 years, he has been using cash. Now he has started using Bitcoin. So he sees the safety of using Bitcoin because of his safety, whereby where I'm from, there is a very high crime rate. So you can easily get robbed when you're selling. So when you have Bitcoin, it's kind of difficult for you to take Bitcoin from somebody else. So Bitcoin has saved him the time and the energy to save, also to grow his business also, and also it has also helped him get connected to other businesses whereby he encouraged them to accept Bitcoin also. So yes.
Yeah, so that's the merchant side, and how about like the customers?
Oh, the customers are part of our team, my team who earn Bitcoin. We are the ones who spend Bitcoin at this merchant, and also we pay our service providers, whereby e.g. One of the people who shoot our proof of work videos are just a bunch of kids, and we pay them with satoshis to shoot our proof of work videos and edit them. So we pay them in satoshis so they can spend at the merchants that we already onboarded.
Like Retshepile is already say, like in a township we have a lot of times, so most of the merchants they can get robbed. Like in December, like there's another shop that they did get robbed, and then the owner gets shot. So yeah, like we have that
Like in December in Ekasi, like a month ago that happened.
Sorry?
That was like a month ago, like in Bitcoin Ekasi? Or when did it happen?
It happens like early January, the shooting of the owner in our township. So it's how like I always tell the merchants when I want to onboard them, I say, okay, like they can take your phone, but you will get your Bitcoin back. Like not like cash, like they can take your cash and then run away with it. You will never get back, and then you will never go to the bank, claim your cash that, okay, they did rob my cash, so I want my cash back. So like in Bitcoin, like it's easy to accept it. And then like most of the merchants in our township, they are not from South Africa. They are from Ethiopia. So those guys, they don't have bank accounts. So it's easy to put their money into Bitcoin wallet. You don't have to have an ID, South African ID. If you want to open Blink wallet, it's just for free. So it's easy for them as well. Is how I get them. So with the customers, like we do a lot of activities in our Bitcoin Ekasi Center, while we reward the kids by attending our Bitcoin Ekasi Center, my premier project, and also for the Safer Kids, we reward those kids like for attending the project, the Safer Kids. So we empower those kids. They must always come in our project. So like we can't just keep giving Bitcoin for free. So Bitcoin, we have to work for getting Bitcoin, like proof of work. Yeah, everything we do like is like proof of work. And also we pay banded check owners every month. So we also don't give those guys just for free Bitcoin. We're not just throwing Bitcoin. They must work for those Bitcoin. They must clean around their checks, and then they can be able to go at the spaza shops to spend their Bitcoin. And also they have to attend our Bitcoin Ekasi Center education. So like they can learn what exactly they are using. You can't just give someone Bitcoin and then say, okay, there is Bitcoin. And then you have to understand what exactly he's using. And then he must know that this thing is using have value than fiat. So yeah.
So in Witsand, we actually have quite a nice story where the boat mechanic accepted sats for a service quite early on. And the timing just worked wonderfully because that money just doubled. And he was starting to tell people like, oh my word, the value doubled. And then it just kept on going up. I mean, it was just the right time. So it's a funny story because there's two sides of that. The other guy paid for the service in Bitcoin and is like losing that value real time, losing. So quite early on, we learned the lesson of spend and replace. And I'm so grateful for Machankura making Lightning purchases easier. That's definitely going to help a lot. And then the fact that it's instant settlement. So that's a fun advantage.
So for the merchants, that's like an important factor to consider. Like they don't have to wait like days or weeks for the payments to be settled, but to get it instantly. Is that like one of the motivations?
So the beautician, for example, I had showed her what Bitcoin is and how the Blink wallet works, and sometimes I'd pay her with sats and sometimes I'd pay her with rands, depending on if it's end of the month and whether that she needs to pay rent, because her landlord does not accept sats yet. And then she got super excited when she got a card machine, because now I can pay with my card as well. Until she realized it takes about 2 days before it shows in her bank account. And those 2 days makes a difference. So, timing.
How does it look in Kailicha?
So your first question was, what do we say to the merchants, right?
The motivation, why the merchants should accept Bitcoin.
So Bitcoin is a silent revolution, right? It's a revolution whereby you don't have to go on the streets and fight people in power. But what's the best way to fight people in power? It's to buy Bitcoin, save your hard earnings, and make sure that you keep them to yourself, right? And spending to the merchants makes their life much more easier because they are non-South Africans. So if you want to open a bank account in South Africa, you need 50 rands cash. You need to have an ID, a proof of address, and you can only imagine for someone who's not a South African, they might have the 50 rand, but what about the ID? What about the proof of address? So Bitcoin it does make their life much more easier that way, because now they don't need any of those things. They just open any form of Lightning wallet so that you can send it to them. And I think the other thing is that there's this thing that Eli just said, that if you are paying from one bank to another, there's a period of time that you need to wait. If not, you have to pay extra charges so that it can be fast. But I think that when we introduced Bitcoin into the merchants in Kailicha, it was much more easier that way, because it doesn't matter what type of a wallet that you're using. You might be using a wallet of Satoshi, you might be accepting Machankura, you might be using Machankura as a wallet. It's easier for the next person to do that without any extra fees or charges or ID, any of those things. So it was much more easier like that. She wants to add.
Yeah, I would love to add to that. Now that you mentioned that, like another aspect that we also see popping up that's quite a fun use case is for pocket money for the kids, because it's easy for them to get an account. There's no registration process, and it's instant. It's there, and the technology comes natural to them. So it's
it's easier with the kids.
Yeah, I'd like to ask if there's any questions from the audience. Just raise your hand. We can give you the mic. So maybe think about some questions, but I still have some. So when you're setting up a new circular economy, if anybody is considering that, I imagine there's maybe a lot of like maybe even naivety about it, and just thinking like it's going to be easier, and a lot of mistakes can be done. People can get discouraged. So what's like the best practice of setting up a circular economy, if there's any, like where to reach out for help, for resources, and how to make sure like the chances of survival of that circular economy is the highest?
Okay, so on the question of sustainability, I think the flow of sets in our circular economy is much more important, but even though it's a bit limited, the funding that we get, but what we do consider when we onboarding our merchants is they will get, we promise them that they will get customers, there will be an increase of sales because there is members of our Bitcoin circular economies that earn in sets. So those kind of disadvantages of increase of sales are there. So when we onboard our merchants, and also when we onboard the members who come to our meetups, we try to educate them. We need tools. whereby especially tools like Blink, whereby it's an easy-to-use wallet. You just need your phone number. It doesn't need anything else. Because a lot of people in our neighborhood, most of them do not have IDs or passports. So they do need to use Bitcoin because they don't have access to bank accounts. Yes. So.
Yeah, and is there any kind of favorite resource for you to learn about how to approach the merchants? Maybe what kind of tools to recommend to them? Is there any kind of cheat sheet for setting up the circular economy?
Yes. Luckily, last year we got a freedom box from the Machangora team, whereby they give us pamphlets to give away to merchants. So it's a bit easy for us to explain what is Bitcoin rather than going to them every day explaining what is Bitcoin, because the process is quite tedious. So those pamphlets, those leaflets come in handy because they help us educate them about Bitcoin. And also we have small Anyana books like your book, the separation of money and state. We try to give them to our members to try to get a bit of light when it comes to Bitcoin, and also we try to gamify the learning experience, because not everybody is willing to come to a 9-week cohort to learn about Bitcoin because they don't have the time, they are busy, there are funerals, there are weddings to attend to. So we try to give them as much resources to learn, especially when it comes to learning about Bitcoin.
Luthando, what kind of resources do you use, and how to ensure people don't repeat the mistakes that you may have seen setting up the economy?
Okay, at the beginning, I used to go to the merchants. The one that, if I onboard the merchants this week, I will follow up again for next week just to see everything still okay. And then his Bitcoin is still on his wallet. I give the merchants some tools like Bitrefill. They can sell airtime using Bitrefill rather than selling airtime. They can sell their assets like that than using another exchanges. Maybe they call our team, use some of the merchants. First time they used to use my bank account to exchange their assets. But now, some of them, they can sell their Bitcoin, selling airtime into Bitrefill. If they want to buy furnitures for their home, they can just use Take a Lot as well. Take a Lot, you can buy some vouchers using Bitcoin. So you must always check to the merchants that everything's still okay, because it's gonna be easy. In South Africa, there is a thing that is a scam. Most of them, they think as soon as you introduce them to Bitcoin, you must make sure that the merchants do understand what Bitcoin is. And then, I used to take them to Pick and Pay as well, just to show them that, okay, you can buy also here at Pick and Pay your throws out of your house. So it's how I get them that, okay, they must think okay, this is real money, it's not a scam.
I think collecting all of this knowledge is a good idea for your next book.
Yeah.
Because we've all gone through these struggles of how to build a circular economy, and it's not very well documented, and the resources, considering how passionate we all are, is quite split up. There are some websites with pictures you can download for stickers, and there are some places you can go to, but there's not really a one-stop shop to start a Bitcoin circular economy. So I think there's lots of scope to build on that.
All right.
Probably it's crazy for me to say this. We can go in all of these communities, give people all sorts of information, but you can never stop a person from doing shit, right, and getting burnt. But what we usually do, we host the Treasure Academy classes, and on your Lightning wallet, which is Blink, there's a spot underneath that says earn. It gives a person an opportunity to learn while they are earning within the wallet. We also do have pamphlets that we give out, and also the stickers that Ellie is talking about, we actually do print them. But I want to emphasize that it doesn't matter. We can go all over the world, try to teach people about Bitcoin and how to spend and replace and save in Bitcoin. But if someone wants to do something that is crazy and get burnt, I think it's their lesson to learn, not ours, because we've already done our part as a circular economy builders.
All right, let me know if there's any questions from the audience. There is one. Do we have a mic we could carry over? Or we can lend one, yeah. Yeah, so that it's we can hear it on the stream.
Who's that?
Over there, yeah. Thank you.
I have a question in relation to volatility. As she mentioned before, that especially when it was going up all the time, maybe it's easy to onboard more merchants and more people. But how do you deal with volatility, especially especially in the part of education and for people to go on board with it, knowing that maybe, for example, they can earn in Bitcoin and the next day it's 10% less what they made yesterday? How do you deal with that in order to work on board people, educate them, and to sustain it?
Okay, I will talk about Bitcoin Ekasi. So we do use stable sets on Blink to help the merchants not use their Bitcoin because of the Bitcoin volatility. So we use stable sets in our site. So you can set on Blink Wallet that the payment that you made now, you can just go straight to stable sets without going to Bitcoin to go up and down. So we use stable sets every time we onboard merchants. But the merchants that they did accept Bitcoin a long time ago, like 2021, while we started Bitcoin Ekasi project, they are no longer care about the Bitcoin volatility. They just receive Bitcoin as Bitcoin. Yeah.
So an easy way around the volatility is, one of the reasons why the volatility is not really a problem is if you're spending it every single day, the volatility automatically reduces because you are receiving today and spending today, so that's at today's price. And then there's sort of like a second stash, which becomes your savings, and it's their education plays a major role, so that you just know that the level or the measure for productivity is whether or not you go to bed with more sats, not what the value of those sats are.
That question is a bit funny because I have a merchant who's always coming to me complaining about Retshepile, why is my price, my Bitcoin always going up and down? No. So what I usually tell is do not focus on that huge number of the rand, just focus on the number of sets that you have on your wallet. So what we do, we're trying to motivate them to focus on the number of satoshis rather than on the measurement of satoshis of fiat, because in reality, Bitcoin is not really volatile. It is the fiat that is actually volatile.
Well said.
Cool. Let me know if there's any other questions from the audience, and if not, but give it some time. My question also is, how can passionate Bitcoiners from the West, from the Europe or the US help out like a particular circular economy? Is it awareness, donations, something else?
Okay, what the West have helped me with, we got a donation of Blockstream Jade wallets. So I helped one of my merchants to set up a Blockstream Jade wallet to self-custody his Bitcoin, because when we spend Bitcoin, the amount accumulates in his Blink wallet. So most of the time we're trying to move his Bitcoin from Lightning to on-chain. So one of those wallets help us a lot because we are able to teach them about self-custody. So.
Sorry?
Can you please repeat the question?
The question? It was, how can European or American Bitcoiners help out, for example, Bitcoin Ekasi?
There's a lot of projects that we are running, really, like we have a relation with. We can sign some transform to apply some donations. So we also have some companies that we paint their logo. So like also they can put some donation to our project. Like Blockstream did donated some hard wallet. You, Treasure, did donated some hard wallet. So we have a big relationship with companies like from Europe. Yeah.
I think face-to-face is where the magic happens. So if people can come and visit the circular economies, that's fantastic. That's a great way to support it. Not just for the sats you come to spend, but for the legitimacy of this is a real thing. Seeing other people come into the community makes the community believe it more. So that's definitely a way to support it.
Thulisa?
Great minds think alike.
I like you.
I was about to say that, but the other thing is that I come from a different part of a township, whereby if you would go now to Google and say, Google Kailicha, a lot of things would come up, right? But I would like to say that there's a difference between what you see on TV and my reality. And I think it's best for anyone who would like to see my reality not to rely on TV, but actually come to Kailicha and see firsthand. Maybe if something happens that you see on TV, we might chase that person together. I don't know. But all I'm trying to say is that visiting the circular economies and not only liking the tweets and reposting them, but I think being there, actually seeing all the ups and the downs that we go through as a circular economies, that would be really important. That would mean a lot, I think, for all of us.
Yeah, I remember the first time I visited Bitcoin Loxion in Kailicha. Herman had to buy for me a paper can. So I was so scared to go to Kailicha, and then Herman just say, no, we have to buy a paper can, so you can just fuel yourself. So
I would like to believe that everybody has their own different realities. And we might be here and thinking that the other place is the worst than the other. But at the end of the day, Kailicha is a place where humans live. There are more successful stories and other people's successful stories, and they came from Kailicha. And I'm one of those people, though. And I think that you will never know what's on the other side until you go on the other side. So thank you very much for coming.
Cool. I don't really have a question anymore, but we have like 1 minute left. But I have an interesting observation because sometimes I speak to high schoolers, like 16-year-old kids maybe. They sometimes invite me to talk about Bitcoin. And like one day I was explaining Bitcoin in the usual way, like separation of money and state and why fiat money sucks, inflation, cross-border payments, all kind of stuff. And I could see like the kids didn't really care about it because they don't have savings, they don't really care about like doing cross-border transactions, of course. But I showed them next some footage from Ekasi, how the kids in this poor neighborhood in Africa were paying with Bitcoin. And that really blew their mind. Like I could see, like for those kids, that made it real, and they could finally understand it's not just like some speculative instrument for middle-class people in the West, but it's actually real-world money that you can use anywhere in the world, even in a very low-tech way, like through the NFC cards. So that was really amazing. So it's not just that, how can European or American Bitcoiners help the circular economies, but the circular economies are actually helping do our jobs as educators, convincing like our peers, because sometimes it's very hard to convince people in the West that fiat money really sucks. So thank you guys for doing this also, because it really helps with educational efforts up north. And